score 300 runs, which they claim to do so, but they're also susceptible of giving 300 runs while the bowling is happening. And that's what we saw yesterday.
Well, when you think SRH, you do think batting, and I think that the fact that their batting is their stronger suit is not an opinion. It doesn't mean that their bowling is necessarily weak. I do think that how they're going to perform as a bowling unit is going to a degree, depend on how well their two Australians go. Pat Cummins, I thought, was better tonight. He got a couple of key wickets, and I think he's improved from that first game. Zampa, first two games, going at about 12 and over in both of them. He's the sort of bowler that can take a little while to work his way into a tournament. His form tends to go in peaks and troughs. And in the 2023 50-over World Cup, first 2.5 games, he was pretty disappointing. It suddenly all clicked, and then he was probably the main reason, the single biggest reason that Australia went on to win that World Cup. So as Hyderabad fans would be hoping that on a pitch that doesn't always make it easy to bowl spin, that he can discover that sort of form, and that if he and Cummins can hit their straps, then I think they are a pretty decent bowling unit.
Well, the highlight of the game wasn't the batting and the bowling, but someone called Shardul Thakur. What an absolute amazing story, like a Cinderella man, the boxing story that we saw a few years ago. This man was not even picked. Erratic injuries. He makes a comeback as he paratrooped the team, and guess what? He is now a purple cap holder. He's got 4 wickets last night. Player of the match. Did you find this thing very intriguing, or this is the trademark IPL thing, that being ready for surprises like we did last night?
I think the fact that Shardul Thakur was not picked up as a couple of things. One, just the incredible of the IPL. Every year after the election, there are worldwide fans think, how did it get picked up? And I think Shardul Thakur is definitely an example of that. It's just high stakes, and there's no league like it in the world. I think the other thing is probably there is a little bit of a disadvantage in being kind of an out-and-out all-rounder, where the sort of guy that is very handy with the ball and very handy with the bat. Cricket tends to, and the IPL is no exception, fancy someone who is an out-and-out star with either bat or ball, and then is handy with the opposite. But I've always liked Shardul Thakur. I mean, some of the stuff he's done in Test cricket. I remember some innings he played against England even. He's the sort of guy that you tend to win cricket matches with a player like him in there. So I'm really pleased that he's got an opportunity, and pleased that he started the season so well.
Thank you, Paul. But also, let's take a step back and talk about another unsung hero who makes a comeback into the IPL. We're talking about Mohammed Shami. Yes. Do you think he's not the bowler that he used to be 4 years ago, 3 years ago? Because he comes in, he looks like a shadow of the great bowler he once was. Is it just is it too early for us to understand, or do you think he's lost his nip?
I actually think that Shami tradition can continue to have success in the IPL. Now, the last 2 seasons that he's played, 2022 and 2023, he had an economy rate of around about exactly 8 runs per over, took a decent number of wickets as well. He missed the 2024 IPL, where things kind of went to a new level, that we saw scoring rates that we've never seen before, and it looks like the 2025 IPL is going to be another example of that. So if we can get the return of Shami as he was prior to his layoff with his injury, then I think he can be very effective for Sunrisers Hyderabad. But there is that if there, and it is a difficult situation bowling in Hyderabad, usually a very, very fine batting pitch. So he's another one that looms as very key to SRH's chances. But I'm backing him to have a pretty decent IPL.
Thank you, Paul, for the wonderful insights. Now we also have on the show Stanley Schwartz, the man himself, the coach, who's now coaching in Dubai, but at the same time he's played junior cricket with Zimbabwe and has been involved with the Zimbabwe cricket team for far too long. Let's hear his views. Stanley, welcome to the show straight from Dubai. Are we witnessing the end of an era? We're talking about not the fan emotions. We are not talking about the what the grapevine has been saying, but you purely from the point of view, what do you make of the telltale signs which are saying that it's finally a swan song? We are not hurrying them into any kind of retirement, but what kind of signal you're getting a coach about Virat Kohli and MS Dhoni?
Hello, Sunil, and hello to everyone. If it so happens that this is the line, I'll be surprised. Now, a couple of factors for me. Seeing Dhoni starting to give responsibility to the other players. It's not often that you see an all-out batsman batting last match versus Mumbai. Two all batting Sam Curran and Jadeja. He's an all-out batsman, and when you have an all-out batsman batting at number 8, is he playing as a specialist wicketkeeper? For me, the role that Mohammed Dhoni is now taking up at Chennai Super Kings is a sign of what is happening in the future in terms of will he play, will he continue to play, or perhaps it's now for him saying, you know what, it's time for me to hand over the responsibilities to the other players, and I slowly, gradually hang up the boots. So I would not be surprised once again if it so happens that we see him next season, because Mohammed Dhoni has kept us guessing in many before. So if it so happens that we see them again, and well, that's another chapter that would have been written in the history book. So, but with that responsibility, that is now giving to other players. His role within the team of the Chennai Super Kings, for me, is a sign that's the last time we will be seeing Mohammed Dhoni versus a Virat Kohli happening at the stadium. Wow, plenty that they've given us, plenty we will live by. That's one thing.
Stanley, the ground and the pitch at MH Stadium is very peculiar. It hasn't changed, but keep on seeing the stats, and they're very bewildering to us. The team batting first has won 57% of the matches, while chasing team has won 43. Very different to other pitches right now. What do you think, if the team wins the toss, will they get into the batting mold, or they'll, considering the dew factor, the lights, the air, the humidity? What's your take on to this?
So now the battle of the spinners. At what point of the match would you rather be facing a world-class spin attack? Relatively new, still new. Once that surface, spin attack comprising Jadeja, Ashwin, Noor Ahmed, you do not want to be facing that spin attack when there's now good conditions for spin. That means you do not want to be batting second. Okay. Now, RCB have Krunal Pandya. I think he's going to play a massive role in this match as well. And hence, I say the battle of the spinners. There's Livingston as well to add on. He's the batting all-rounder. They will need to add a third spinner, RCB, to try and even the odds. We watched the first match where Chennai Super Kings, it was a close encounter. It took a good batting effort from the top order to through. So it's a battle of the spinners. You do not want to be facing spin attack batting second. So with the toss, it's a no-brainer to want to bowl first.
Well, Stanley, we also have some stats here about the bowling department and the wickets falling. In Chennai, out of the 141 matches have played, fast bowlers have taken 379 wickets. Yes, from 141 matches, 379 wickets, while the spinners have only claimed 226. I think today the team will rely on the spin, or will get into the pace bowling attack.
Well, the stats do tell once, but however, any bowling attack needs to be balanced. And the one thing that you've seen in this IPL is that we have swing bowlers up front. Okay, and Chennai have swing bowlers. Sam Curran up front as well, and you've got Dal up front as well. So you need a good balance at the end of the day, but it's how you use it. You know, seamen playing for all when the ball is still hard, when the lateral movement, if there is any, that's their best time to be bowling, and obviously at the back end of the inning. The middle period at Chennai is for spinners. Okay, the majority of their job, their main job, is to contain, make it difficult for the batsman to score, make it difficult for the batsman to rotate strike. That's the main job of the spinners, because the conditions will be conducive. You're getting something to mistakes. That's where the spin comes in. For seamers, you get a lot of your wickets when the ball is still. You get a lot of wickets at the back end when looking to try and tee off in the past couple of overs. So a good is always necessary in this format of the game.
Well, this is going to be a big match tonight. Stanley, what is your understanding? Remember last year in IPL, Chennai was eliminated. Is it a revenge time? Are the daggers going to be drawn?
There are questions, but for me, the best thing, a good brand of cricket that guarantees resulted are Indians in spin batting. Now, RCB have decent spinners as well. Good spinners in Krunal Pandya, Liam Livingston. And I'd like to see that third spinner Kings can come. Chennai's a bit of work, playing in that. They would have gone out and done their homework on how to play spin. RCB, on the other hand, would like to maintain.
Well, Noel, this is your favorite pitch in the world after the Sunrisers' home ground, which is Hyderabad. Let's talk about himself, Rachin Ravindra. He scored 190 runs, big match player at this Chennai ground. Do you think he can still pose threat to RCB in today's match, considering he's just scored 190 runs in 6 games?
Chandra can be a threat to RCB in this game. Why I'm saying, because in what form he is coming to this IPL. You know, we have seen him performing a Championship Trophy just concluded at Dubai. In 23, he's got 300s in the. What kind of player he is? You know, he's a great. Left-hand from New Zealand, you know, who could can come and bowl a bit in between, which he has done for New Zealand. He's been an asset to the Chennai Super Kings recently. He's been in great form. In the first outing itself in IPL, he's got a 50 odd runs. I know, and in the he's got 65, 30. Seven with, along with one wicket and 105. He's got 112 in the recent. He's in great. He's in great nick, and I think he likes MS Tambaram Stadium also. In recent in 5 innings, I think he's got 190 odd runs. So imagine what a player he is and what he can be set to the Chennai Super Kings and a threat to RCB in this game. He will open the innings, and he's a great.
Well, Virat Kohli himself, the man in the spot today, he's got a good record against Ashwin and Jadeja in IPL. He's got a strike rate of 108, and against Jadeja, he's had a strike rate of 123. Now, when you look at both the comparison, he's just faced 145 deliveries between the two of them. I think the experienced bowlers can tire him out and just boggle him down in the match tonight.
Virat Kohli is Virat Kohli. What kind of player? He's a dominant player. T20 he's got a lot of runs for RCB, IPLs. Man of the match on many occasions. He's been the best batsman of the series. Last year he's got around 700 runs. So we can imagine what he brings to the table. Yes. Recently he's been out of form. During the bilateral series in England, he was struggling to the spinners. I think that will be a key point for the spinners like Ravindra Jadeja or Ashwin to take a note of it and keep an eye on Virat Kohli what he's doing. I think Virat will not be struggling against them, but he will be a little careful because both are very experienced bowlers, Ashwin and Jadeja. They've been teammates throughout the whenever they played for the country, all these three, so they know in and out of Virat very well, and Virat knows in and out of Ravindra Jadeja and Ashwin what kind of bowlers they are. So there will be a little bit of battle amongst them, with the cautious in back of the mind. But this is T20 format, anything can happen, and I think this will be a contest when both of them will come to bowl to Virat and play and will he attack or will he rotate? Rotating is not possible in T20, but I think these two guys will a bit of threat to Virat.
Well, the comparisons are bound to happen today. Virat Kohli is, of course, the RCB's flag bearer, but at the same time, you also have Devon Conway. Let's look at his experience, which is lesser as to Virat Kohli, but at the same time, he's got a better average as compared to Virat Kohli. He's got a better strike rate, and he's got a big heart and a big captain supporting him. Do you think in today's match, Devon Conway, who's become a big game, big will have an impact on the game tonight?
I like this guy, Devon Conway. I always rated him very high. I've been keenly watching him when he played for New Zealand, and he opened the innings. Even he has performed for CSK. What I like is a very attacking batsman with a lot of sensibility in him. He knows when to attack, when to take the bowlers to the cleaners. He's left-hander when it comes to number 2 in the opening slot. I know he's a good fielder also. Remember that he's been an asset to the New Zealand team all the time. He's not played much for the during the ICC charity. I love this guy when he clean of the ball, striker of the ball. He can really, if his day, he can just take the bowlers to all parts of the ground. The comparison between him and Kohli, I think Kohli is a different kind of player. Conway is a different kind of player, but I don't like to compare any with anybody, especially with Virat or any, because everyone has their own skills of batting, their own way of going about their business. They know how to bat when that situation is, and I like this a lot. Devon Conway is really performed for CSK on many occasions whenever the opportunity has been given to him, and I think Dhoni has a lot of faith with him, and I think even the same with the new captain Raj Gaikwad. And I hope that Devon Conway stands to his to the trust what the CSK has put on him and perform all the time. And I will be keenly watching this guy when he bats.
Well, when the team comparisons happen, you've got to get the skipper. Of course, we don't have MS Dhoni, you don't have Virat Kohli leading their side, but you've got Rituraj Gaikwad of CSK, who looks quite experienced than RCB's Patidar. But Patidar has been more impactful when it comes to the comparison of the strike rate. Will this difference play any role flow from both the teams when they come into act tonight?
I think it's good to see these two youngsters, Ruturaj and Rajat Patidar, who be handed over the risk at this age, and especially Ruturaj Gaikwad, he's still a youngster compared to Patidar, who is in his 30s. But yeah, both are talented batters. Ruturaj has played for India. He showed his potential at the end. We know exactly he did in the IPL, and one of the reasons why he got the captaincy and the faith from Mahendra Singh Dhoni. While Rajat Patidar, definitely he may not have done wonders when it comes to international cricket, maybe Test cricket, but definitely seen what he has done in the IPL, fantastic. That's why he's given the responsibility to feel. It's one good contest to watch how these two leaders turn up with, to watch out for, and who supersedes whom, because something like Ruturaj is a floater kind of bat in the top order. He opens the innings. Sometimes he bats at number 3. Batting at number at Chennai Super Kings is a challenger because the wicket is slow. It's a bit turning. It's not easy to. While Rajat Patidar, has been batting in Chennai Swami Stadium. Bat duty, I would say. He plays most of his games. So it would be interesting to see how Rajat does it of the Lions Den actually, and how Rajat Patidar comes up with against Krunal Pandey. I would say the left arm spinner who won man of the match. It's a contest between the two, a mouth-watering one.
Thank you, Toss, for stats and the idea. But also, let's do some analysis between Khalil Ahmed and Josh Wood. Of course, Khalil Ahmed has a wide experience of playing in IPL as compared to Josh. While he has more experience than Khalil. So what do you think this comparison in this high-octane match would be? Because when you look at their stats, which are on the screen right now, both of them have played from 28 to 115. You've got 28 matches with 114 matches that they've done. 832 runs conceded compared to 3,582, so on and so forth. So what do you think this bring on to the viewers and the tonight?
I think it's a bit unfair to see, to compare the two cricketers, especially somebody like Josh, who's an experienced, I think one of the greats of the game when it comes to Australian cricket, and who's yet to start or maybe to make an impact at the high level of the game, but he's been doing well in the IPL. We saw what exactly Khalil last game for Chennai Super Kings was instrumental in for CSK in the previous game, while Josh was as good, but he may not have got the number of wickets like Khalil. Say fun to watch because Khalil is a left-arm pacer who's got that advantage, to bowl around the wicket as well. While Josh Hazlewood will be bowling most of the time from over the wicket. So he has the advantage when it comes to being a pacer, while Josh will come up with a lot of experience, will be handy. Will be interesting to see how fast bowlers perform on the day, because Swami seamers have mostly, which happens in most stadiums or maybe most of the grounds, the new ball. So it would be one good exactly how the two fast turn up. And the brain behind Khalil Ahmed, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, somebody who will be guiding him, while Josh Hazlewood will be on his own. Being an experienced guy, it wouldn't be a difficult task.
Well, this is canonical, and this is straight from the Jurassic Park's record and stat. The reason we say this is because the last time RCB defeated CSK, it was back in 2008. Virat Kohli had just started playing. MS Dhoni was the skipper. Lata Mangeshkar was still singing. Prime Minister Modi at that time was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. The dollar to rupee conversion was different. Sachin Tendulkar had just scored his 85th century. Things were different, and they haven't changed in the last so many years. Do you think today will be different, considering RCB is taking on CSK, the in their background tonight?
So as we all know, IPL is inspired by Bollywood, maybe Indian film industry, and we see a lot of revenge movies in the Indian film industry. So why not? 2008 defeated Chennai Super Kings, and again, I mean, this time they would be keen, especially when they are going into the last. And Mahendra Singh Dhoni, although he may be behind the wickets, not the captain, but he'll be one of the brains, the shrewdest brains behind Ruturaj Gaikwad. So I think it would be one classical contest for and a balanced one. Considering both teams are balanced, the one has one extraordinary couple of extraordinary bowlers, turn and tweakers, I would say, in R. Ashwin and Jadeja, while the other guys, RCB, they have a good lineup. So it's a good contest between CSK spinners and RCB's batters. But again, I would want to see a good contest, citing one where RCB defeats Chennai Super Kings and takes that revenge of 2008.
Well, before we wrap up our show tonight, we're going to spare a thought for the umpires. They applied, and we the most experienced umpire of IPL, who's umpired over 220 odd matches. He's been a third or a fourth umpire at the same time. Let's understand when an umpire plays and stands in the IPL, that too at the Chennai ground, what they face, what are the problems, what are the challenges, and as I said, let's have a heart for umpire as well, because they do the most difficult job on this high-pitch, high-octane drama. Let's hear what Anil Chaudhary had to say last week and hear his views on the pressure that an umpire follows.
You are bound to miss what ends, bound to miss your communication with fourth party umpire, because this noise level is it's not normal music or other sound. It is different kind of I don't know which degree is this. It hits you here. Dhoni also. Can you hear anything? He just gave it.
Well, you heard it. We had the four best and the biggest umpire of IPL talking about his plight, his challenges faced at the Chepauk Stadium. Well, that's all we had time for. This is Sunil Alra signing off on Cricket Predicta, a show sponsored by Backed and Womeki Infrastructure. Keep watching NewsX. We'll be back after the commercial break. Don't go anywhere else. Hello and welcome to a special program of Cricket Predicta. We are at the heart of UAE, very close to the ICC heads, and guess what do we have today? We've got four of the best and the eminent players of the game. Start off with Paul Tennant, Stanley Chiozza, who's been into coaching. Paul has been into a podcaster. Noel David, of course, one of the best fielders of the game, a coach, and also Toss Rizvi, boy from Maidans to the Melons of the world, who understands every game, every player, and their background. Well, let's dive in. First question. Let me introduce Paul into the show. Paul, welcome to the show. Let me start by asking you, what first reaction when you saw the match, which was not a 250 or not a 300 match, but close to 200 and less than 200?
Yeah, well, that was one of the things last season, wasn't it? They were explosive up top and exciting, but there's a feeling that if they lost a few early wickets, then things could unravel. It didn't really unravel too much. I know that in this IPL, 100 isn't that massive a score. I think it was notable, though, that the innings break, SH was still slightly favourites and win Predicta. So it wasn't a terrible spot. And, they've got, I reckon, decent batting depth, even beyond Abhishek Sharma and Travis Head and, say, Ishan Kishan. Hydrik Klassen, Aniket Verma, really good. Manar can really smash the ball. Even Pat Cummins smacking his balls for six. So I think they've got more. They're more than just a top three side, and I like the fact that they are kind of committed to the sort of organ philosophy of no matter how many wickets we lose, we're going to keep on going hard, and it's tremendously exciting to watch.
Well, thank you very much for explaining the viewers about if there is a sudden top order collapse like we saw of Sunrisers Hyderabad, do they get into a trouble? And very eloquently put. Now let's do the second question, Paul, and very honest answers the fans demand is Sunrisers Hyderabad batting lineup is extremely dangerous to the other teams. When it comes to the bowling, can this be considered as their winners because they are three or top four batters heavy and with no bowling? I mean, one day they can score 300 runs, which they came to do so, but also susceptible of giving 300 runs while bowling is happening. That's what we saw today. Thank you.
Well, when you SRH, you do think, and I think that the fact is their stronger suit is not a controversial opinion. It doesn't mean it is necessarily weak. I do think that how they're going to perform as a bowling unit is, to a degree, depend on how the two Australians go. Pat Cummins, I thought, was better tonight. He got a couple of key wickets. I think he's improved from that first game. Zampa, first two games, going at about 12 and over in both of them. He sort of bowler that can take a little while to work his way into a tournament. His form tends to go in peaks. In the 2023 50-over World Cup, first 2.5 games, he was pretty disappointing. It suddenly all clicked, and then he was probably the main reason, the single biggest reason he went on to win that World Cup. So Sunrisers Hyderabad fans would be hoping that on a pitch that doesn't always make it easy to bowl in, that he can discover that sort of, that if he and Cummins can hit their straps, then I think they are a pretty decent bowling unit.
Well, the highlight of the game wasn't the batting, wasn't the bowling. Someone called Lord Shardul. What an absolute amazing story, like a Cinderella man, the boxing story that we saw a few years ago. This man was not even picked. Iraq injuries, he makes a comeback he paratrooped into the team, and guess what? He is now a purple cap holder. He's got 4 wickets last night. Player of the match. Did you find this very intriguing, or this is the trademark IPL thing that we for surprises like we did last night?
I think the fact that Shardul Thakur was not picked up at the auction shows a couple of things. One, just the incredible standard of the IPL. Every year after the auction, there are several players that worldwide fans think, how did they not get picked up? And I think Shardul Thakur is definitely an example of that. It's just high stakes, and there's no league like it in the world. I think the other thing is probably there is a little bit of a disadvantage in being kind of an out all-rounder, where the sort of guy that is very handy with the ball and very handy with the bat. Cricket tends to, and the IPL is no exception, fancy someone who is start with either bat or ball and then is handy with the opposite. But I've always liked Shardul Thakur. Some of the stuff he's done in Test cricket. I remember innings against England, and he's the sort of guy that you tend to win cricket matches with a player like him in there. So I'm really pleased that he's got it and pleased that he started the season so well.
Thank you, Paul. But also, let's take a step back and talk about another unsung hero who makes a comeback into the IPL. We're talking about Mohammed Shami. Yes. Do you think he's not the bowler that he used to be 4 years ago, 3 years ago? He looks like a shadow of the great bowler he once was. Is it just to, is it too early for us to understand, or do you think he's lost his zip and nip?
I actually think that Shami, even he's more of a traditional player, can continue to have success in the IPL. Now, the last two seasons that he's played, 2020 and 2023, he had an economy rate of around about exactly 8 runs per over, took a decent number of wickets as well. He missed the 2024 IPL where things kind of a new level. We saw scoring rates that we've never seen before, and it looks like the 2025 IPL is going to be another example of that. So if we can get the return of Shami as he was prior to his layoff with his injury, then I think he can be very effective for Sunrisers Hyderabad. But there is that if there. And it is a difficult situation bowling in Rad, usually a very, very fine batting pitch. So he's another one that looms as very key to SRH's chances, but I'm backing him to have a pretty decent.
Thank you, Paul, for the wonderful insights. Now we have on the show Stanley Chiozza himself, the coach who's now in Dubai, but at the time he's played junior cricket with Zimbabwe and has been involved with the Zimbabwean cricket for far too long. Let's hear his views. Welcome shows from Dubai. Are we witnessing the end of era? We're talking not the fan emotions. We are not talking about the what the Grapevine has been saying, but you purely from the point of view as a coach. What do you mean? The telltale signs which are saying that it's fine. We are not hurrying them into any kind of retirement. But what are the kind of signals you're getting as a coach about Virat Kohli and MS Dhoni?
Sunil, and hello to everyone. Sunil, if it so happens the last time, I will not be surprised. Now, a couple of facts for me. As I'm seeing Dhoni starting to give responsibility to the other players. That you see an all-out batsman batting at number 8, as we witnessed in the last match versus Mumbai. 2 all-rounders batting ahead of him in Sam Curran and Jadeja. He's an all-out batsman. And when you have an all-out batting at number 8, is he playing as a specialist wicketkeeper? So for me, the role that Mohammed Singh Dhoni is now taking up at Chennai Super Kings is a sign of what is happening in the future. Will he play? Will he continue to play? Or perhaps it's now for him saying, you know what, it's time for me to hand over the responsibilities to the other players, and I